Okay, good morning, everyone. This week Parsha is Parashat Chukat, and in Parashat Chukat there is something really unique and big. Few concepts that we're gonna learn are the concepts of life and death, and Tumor and Tara. Tumor is spiritual impurity, and Tara is purification from the impurity. So the mitzvah here, in the beginning of the parsha, is the mitzvah of para aduma, a red cow. In the beginning, let's just go over to see the general details about it. So the first pasuk in chapter 19, the first verse, Vaydaber Hashem and Moshe ve'el Aaron lemor. Hashem speaking to Moshe and Aaron, and the next words are Zot Chukat Torah asher tziva Hashem lemor. And here I want to put the first question. Zot Chukat Torah asher tziva Hashem lemor. Question is, why Chukat Torah? Chukah is a constitution, a law. So the Torah is the general Torah. The entire Torah was 613 mitzvot. But over here, there is only one mitzvah of all the mitzvahs of the Torah. So it should be specific, saying this is chukas hapara. It's the chok of the para. I mean, why Torah? That chukas Torah, meaning that this thing is in a way include the entire Torah. So this is the first key. Let's go on. זאת חוקת התורה אשר ציווה השם לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ויקחו אליך פרה אדומה תמימה אשר אין בה מום, אשר לא עלה עליה עול. So they have to bring a red cow. In the beginning, I mean, the baby cow is a calf. It starts to be a cow from the age of 3, 4. So in order for it to be qualified, she should be this cow, and it should be a female cow from the age of 3 or 4. She should be red, completely red. She should be complete, like all other korbanos. אשר אין בה מום, אשר לא עלה עליה עול. It should be that this cow never was used for human needs. At the time, to plow the ground or something like this, nothing. So it should be, those are the conditions. Now, this cow should be brought to Elazar Kohen. Remember, we still here before Aaron Kohen passed away, meaning was Aaron Cohen, but the mitzvah of the Torah will be by his son, Elazar, which was the deputy to the high priest. In this particular case. Let me give you now another hint. Chazal says in the Medrash that the red cow come to purify something that the golden calf did. Because the golden calf is the son of the red cow, right? And if you remember, Chet HaEgel was caused, or the one who made it, of course he didn't meant to make it like it was Aaron. So Aaron could not be now the one who deal with the red cow, because there is a connection between the red cow and the golden calf. So the red cow is the mother of the golden calf, and the Medrash bring a mashal like a maid that was serving in a palace of a king, of a big king. So one day she brought her little kid with her to work. and the kid makes some dirt in the palace. So, of course, it's a responsibility of the mother to clean up after. So that's the mashal that Chazal bring about the golden calf and the red cow. And because Aaron was involved in a way in the red calf, the golden calf, therefore he could not do this parah aduma. It will be by his deputy, which is his son. ונתתם אותה אל אלעזר הכהן, והוציא אותה אל מחוץ למחנה ושחט אותה לפניו. Very interesting. There are only two korbanos that not sacrificed on the mizbeach, on the altar, and those are the Sa'ir HaMishtalech b'Yom HaKippurim, the sa'ir that we taking away from Beis HaMikdash and throwing from the rock in Yom Kippur, and the parah aduma. The parah aduma is not sacrificed, is not a korban that comes to the mizbeach, to the altar. So they shechting it out of Beis HaMikdash, of the Mishkan Beis HaMikdash. ולקח אלעזר הכהן מדמה באצבעו. Now the shechter not necessarily is not Elazar, but Elazar has to be there. Elazar Cohen, the deputy of the high priest, has to be there to watch it. He has to watch the entire thing. Someone else could shecht it, but it should be lefanav, in front of him. ולקח אלעזר הכהן מדמה באצבעו והיזה אל נוכח פני אוהל מועד מדמה 7 פעמים. So the deputy high priest take from the blood of the parah, and he has to throw 7 times toward the Mishkan, toward Beis HaMikdash. If you were in Yerushalayim, you remember that when you go down from the Jewish quarter, down in the steps, down to the Kotel, you see Har HaZeisim, the mountain, the olive mountain. At the time when Beis HaMikdash was in Yerushalayim, the shechting of parah aduma was on Har HaZeitim, on the olive mountain, and again, the shechting and the entire process was there, but the Kohen, the deputy Kohen, or whoever it was, has to throw the blood toward the Beis HaMikdash. Okay? 7 times. Now, the next step is, v'saraf et ha'para le'inav. After the para was shechted and the blood was thrown, then the mitzvah is to burn the entire para. ושרף את הפרה לעיניו, את אורה ואת בשרה ואת דמה על פרשה ישרוף, the entire para, the entire cow. Then there is another thing. ולקח הכהן עץ ארז, ואזוב ושני תולד, והשליך אל שריפת הפרה, אל תוך שריפת הפרה. There are 3 things. Erez, how do you say erez?
Cedar.
A cedar, big tree, right? A cedar and a zov, which is a little grass, whatever. Veshni tolat, and something red that he has to throw them to the srefat, to the burning cow. Now, after all of this happened, the Kohen, and that's the interesting thing about the entire thing. So Hashem told us, the entire idea of the parah aduma is to purify someone who was contaminated, who was impurified by tumas met, by touching or being in touch in a dead body or even part of a dead body. He become impurified, and the way to purify unclean, and the way to purify them is to do this thing, right? Now the thing is that if there is a power of purification to the ashes of the parah, it should be something that cleaning, right? Everyone who involved in every step, just by being involved on this role, as the person who shech the parah, the minute he shech the parah, he become impurified. He burned the parah, he become impurified. Impurified. So the interesting about impure. Tameh. Impure. Tameh. So Any words that could make it clear. Okay. So the interesting thing about this, why at the end of the process we have a power of something, all of this thing that could purify people, but anyone who got involved in this on the way become Tomei, become impure. This is one of the very difficult things to understand about the story of Parah Adumah. Okay, now after the entire thing was burned, they put it in a place, but not bringing it to Beis Hamikdash. Should be out of the machane, out of the camp. Okay, now after that, the Torah bring us the main thing over here, and this is the rule. Those are the rules how a person become impure. Okay, look at verse 11. הנוגע באמת לכל נפש אדם וטמא 7 ימים. Anyone who got in touch, and let me say, in my words, the thing that described over there, anyone that got in touch with a dead body of a person, or even part of the dead body, become impurified, and this tumah, this impurification is impure. This is the highest level of tumah ever. It's called by the words of Chazal, Avi Avot HaTumah, the father of tumah. Now, we have to try to understand this. What is tumah? Why dead body of a person make other people, by the way, in 3 ways: touch, carry, even without touch, or being under the same roof. There are 3 ways to become Tomei, impurified in Tumas Met. Again, touching, carrying even without touching, carrying in a bed or something, right? Or being under the same roof. And same roof, it doesn't mean just roof. Let's say, for example, if there is a dead body or part of a dead body under a tree, and someone went far from the body, under the tree, but there is one branch that goes over him and over the dead body, he becomes impurified. And this tumah is Avi Avot HaTumah, the father of the tumas. So we have to understand what tumah. After we will try, or we'll have some understanding of what tumah, we could go to the other step, how to purify from this kind of tumah. And the implication of being tomei is only for one thing. And that's why it's not relevant today. It's relevant in a way. There is a place, the opposite of tumah is Kedusha, or tahara, which is the same in a way. Kedusha is holiness. Tumah is just the opposite of holiness. And we have to still explain why. In the world, in the universe, there are 10 levels of Kedusha, of holiness. Eretz Israel, Kedusha mikol ha'aratzot. The first thing, the land of Israel is holy than any other place in the entire world and the entire universe. In Eretz Israel, in the land of Israel, Yerushalayim Kedusha mikol Eretz Israel. This is the next step of Kedusha. Yerushalayim. In Yerushalayim, Har Habayit, the mountain of the Beis Hamikdash, is holy than the entire Yerushalayim. And in Beis Hamikdash there are levels until the highest level, which is Kodesh HaKodashim, the holy of holiness. This is Kodesh HaKodashim. Now, the entire thing of being, the implication of being impurified is because it's just the opposite of Kedusha. Anyone who is Tomei could not go to Har Habayit. could not go to the mountain when Beis HaMikdash is, where Beis HaMikdash was. Even today. And that's the reason that we are not allowed to cross certain line and go over to Beis HaMikdash. Those people who go to Harabait, most of them do not know, but this is a very, very severe thing. It's a chorus. Anyone who came, and even today, even when Beis HaMikdash is not there, because the Kedusha is still there. Now, let's try to understand what Tumor is. In order to understand what Tumor is, we have to understand what Kedusha is. Because it's the opposite. And Yedi'ata hafachim achat. When you understand clearly one side, just do the opposite, you understand there. Okay. So what is Tumor? In Hebrew, for those of you who are familiar with the grammar in the Hebrew, so you have to know, I mentioned that in all the other shiurim that I gave here, and in general, that in the Hebrew language, in the holy language, we have 22 letters. 22 letters of the alphabet, of the Hebrew alphabet. And there is a lot of wisdom in each letter, and a lot of mystical, spiritual secrets in each letter, the way it's written, the way it's pronounced, and the connection between one letter to other letter in order to create a word. So the key is that if you want to understand really the meaning of the words, you have to go to the root. In any notion in Hebrew, go to the root. The root is the three major letters in each word. This is the root of the word. And if you go to the word Tumah, the main letters are the letters Tet, Mem, and Aleph, which is a word by itself, Tomeh. But Tum'ah, the root of the word are the letter Tet, Mem, Aleph. If you take those letters, change the order, you put first the word Aleph, then the Tet, then the Mem. You will get another word in Hebrew, which is atam, le'etom, which is to sealed, concealment, to sealed, le'etom, atom. Tuma is a barrier or something that creates sealed something. Kedusha is just the opposite of this. There is no barrier between what? Between two things. What are the two things? The two things are, we're talking about human being. When Hashem created Adam, it says, "Vayitzer Hashem Elokim et ha'adam afar min ha'adama, vayipach be'apav nishmat chayim." So the two elements that combined create Adam are the physical, dust from earth, and the Neshamah. Now the Neshamah is spiritual entity, and the body is a physical entity. When there is a connection between the body and the soul, and it's not simple to have this connection, if the connection is in the right way, that's called Kedusha. What is Kedusha? Kedusha is to dedicate. Let's say I have money or I have time, and I say, I dedicate my time to do some mission. So when I take a physical resources and give them spiritual meaning, the right spiritual meaning, that's called Kedusha. Hashem created the world. And Hashem has no material in Him, because material is limited and Hashem is unlimited. But because Hashem is the creator of the universe, relative, if you want to describe the connection between the creator and the creation, this create a title for Hashem which is not really defined who He is, but who he is relative to the creation that he created. So how we call Hashem? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, meaning that he, relative to the creation, he is holy. And the holy is the connection between the physical elements in the creation and Hashem. When Hashem gave us the Torah, he offered us to be his nation. So the words are, V'atem tiyu li mamlechet kohanim v'goy kadosh. You will be a holy nation. And later on, we just learned it not too long ago, there is a parsha in the Torah called Parashat Kedoshim. What Hashem said there, Kedoshim tiyu ki kadosh ani. Because I'm holy, you should be holy because you're my nation. How are we holy? What makes us holy? We're saying about every mitzvah that we do, we're saying a bracha. We're blessing before, right? What are we saying the bracha? Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav. So how do you become holy? Through the mitzvah. How? Through the mitzvah you become holy. Most of the mitzvahs in the Torah are dealing with physical things. Let's say, I'll give you an example. We drink. Any cat or dog also drinks. The cat or dog could not say bracha. We could. When you drink, just in order to, feel to refill the lack of what you're missing, in order for the body to function, this all is in the realm of physical. When you drink, I'm giving you a simple example, the water. You eat, you drink, you do any physical thing. The Jewish way to do it is always before you do any physical thing, connected with the spiritual meaning. Give it a spiritual meaning, and that will elevate it from being physical to be connected to the spiritual. What is the benefit? If it's physical, it's insignificant. It serves a purpose of right now, and it's all temporary, and at the end, everything will be insignificant. When you give it a spiritual meaning, you're actually performing the amazing thing called Tchiyas HaMeisim. How? Because you take the physical and you do not relate to it as physical, but you give it a spiritual meaning this is just a mean for a bigger goal. When it's become just the mean for the bigger thing, it got the quality of the biggest idea, and it becomes spiritual. The physical becomes spiritual, and that's called Kedusha. That's called Kedusha. Okay, so according to this, if we a little bit understood what Kedusha is, again, the simple definition is to give a physical, which is limited, which means that it's going to come to end. And when it will come to end, it will be insignificant what happened before, because now it's nothing. When you give the physical spiritual meaning, you elevated it to be a tool for something that's not limited. That's called Kedusha. And this is the mitzvos. Those are the entire mitzvos. If you separate the physical from the spiritual, the separation, remember we talked about a barrier, which is atima, which is tumor, that causes the tumor. When you have the option to connect it, and you choose not to do it, no connection to any spiritual, just leave it in the physical, that's called tumor. Tumor is concealment or barrier between the physical and the spiritual. Now, the entire idea of Beis HaMikdash, that there is a place, a physical place in this world, for the creator of the universe to dwell in it. ועשו לי מקדש ושכנתי בתוכם. So therefore, Beis HaMikdash is the place of the connection between physical and spiritual, which means the creation and the creator. Therefore, anyone that not qualified, meaning that who is Tomeh, meaning running his life, her life, not in connection with the physical and the spiritual, is Tomeh. He is not allowed to go to Beis HaMikdash or to the place of Beis HaMikdash, Har HaBayit. And this is a chorus. Chorus is the highest severe punishment that anyone could get. Chorus means that the Neshamah is disconnect from the entire nation forever. So it's Onesh Chorus. The punishment is chorus. The highest level of Tumah is Tumas Met. Tum'at Met. The Tumah of a dead person. And by the way, I'm telling that only to you. I know it's recorded, but okay. Only Jews are metame betumas met. Meaning only a body of a Jew, a dead body of a Jew, is metame. The non-Jews, their bodies is not metame. Why? Okay, let me explain a little bit. The difference between a Jew and non-Jew, the difference between Jew and non-Jew is not in the body. It's the same body. You could take a heart from someone and implant it in another. That will not make the Jew non-Jew or the non-Jew Jew. The body is the same. The difference between a Jew and non-Jew is in the soul, in the Neshamah. Now, every human being has a Neshamah. You have to know. The Goyim also has Neshamah. But according to the Kabbalah, the Neshama of the Jew is in higher spiritual level, and therefore we are obligated, or mechuyavim, we have to do more mitzvos than the Goyim. A good Goy, pious Goy, has only 7 mitzvos. Sheva mitzvot bnei Noach, the 7 mitzvos of Noah. We have 613. And we are obligated to more mitzvos because of the heights of the neshama. Meaning it's not just a gift, it's an obligation. Now, the highest the neshama is, the connection with the body is more significant. When the neshama is inside the body, every Jew in the entire nation called holy nation, Goy Kadosh. A Jew is a holy person. It should be. When the neshama separate the body, what make again the body or the entire person holy? The connection between the body and the soul. Because we said that Kedusha is to take every physical and connect it or give it a spiritual meaning. Now when the neshama separate the body, what happened with the body? The body used to host very high entity called neshama. Now when the neshama separate the body just become the same way it was in very high level when the neshama was in it. When the neshama get out, it's become just the opposite. That's why the dead body is tumah. Now, what caused the tumah? The separation. The separation between the spiritual and the physical caused the tumah. So, met, a dead body of a person, of a Jew, of a person, let's say, caused tumah. Now, anyone a live person who is in touch with this body become av hatumah. Av, okay, let's explain this. What is av? And am, and em. Av and em. A father and a mother. What give us, when we are born, when we are little kids, we are not fathers, we are not mothers. We got the title father or mother by our first kid. Our first kid give us the title father or mother. So when you said about Tumas Mes, that it's Avi Avot HaTumah, the father of all impurity. Avi Avot HaTumah. It means that anyone who touch or come in a way in touch with a dead body, the one who touched the body become Avatumah. Avatumah meaning that if this person will touch anything, it will make it Tomeh B'Tumas Met. Okay, so this is a little bit about Kedusha and Tumah, and now let's go to our issue, which is the Parah Adumah. Hashem telling us in the Torah, I'm going to tell you how to purify yourself from Tumas Met if anyone involved in Tumas Met. And the only implication, there's no Isur, it's not forbidden to any Jew to become Tomeh Met. There's no Isur. You could be Tomeh Met. The only thing, if you're Tomeh Met, you could not go to Har HaBayit. You could not go in Yerushalayim to Har HaBayit, to the place of the Mikdash. That's it. That's the only thing. Today, we all, Tmei Met, all of us, because each one of us touched someone that touch was in connection with the body, and we have no Parah Adumah. The only way to purify yourself from Tumas Met is Parah Adumah. There is no other way. Only this way. And because we do not have Parah Adumah in the last 2,000 years, since the destruction of second Beit HaMikdash, therefore, all the people all over the world, Jews and non-Jews, there are no one who could go inside this place, the holy mountain. That's the only implication. So all of us today are Tmei Meitim. Now Hashem tell us, or give us the secret, how to purify yourself from being Tomeh Met. How? And this is the only way with all the little details about it. If one of them is missing, it will not work. So this is the story. You have to take a red cow with all the details that I mentioned and not mentioned over here in the parasha. Burned it. Now you have ashes. You have the after it was burned, right? You take this ashes, says the Torah, in verse 17, ולקחו לטמא מעפר שרפת החטאת ונתן עליו מים חיים אל כלי. You take the ashes of the parah, of the red cow, and mix it with live water. What do you mean live water? מים חיים. מים חיים are either a rain or a water that goes in a river or in the ocean without touch of a human being. Meaning, if I take from the river water with a bucket, it's not good. It has to be alive. Alive meaning that natural. You take this natural, put it in a certain vessel, mix with it the ashes of the parah, so you got this mix. From this, you take azov, which is kind of grass, and put it in and throw over the person who was tameh, and he will come to her. But the person who do this to him, to purify him, become Tomeh. So the act itself has two things in it. It purifies the one who this thing was thrown on him, but make the thrower Tomeh. How? Oh yeah, okay. Now there are many deep things over here that we have to clarify. We try, in a way, to understand what Tumah is, what Kedusha is. Now we're trying to understand or to learn how the purification works. So, in order to reduce the expectations, I have to say to you that no one in the world could understand this. So don't even try. Could understand how this purified it. Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon, was the wise person ever. Vayachkam mikol ha'adam. So he said, Shlomo HaMelech, Amarti echkama ve'i rechoka mimeni. I thought that because I'm wise, in a way that no one before me and after me, Hashem told him, no one before you, no one after you, you will be in the highest level of wisdom. So I try with my wisdom to understand the mitzvahs of the Torah. I understand most of them, but this one, Parah Aduma, I tried to understand, and I could not understand it. So, for us, just don't even try. It's a waste of time. Don't try. The only person in the world that knew the secret, person in the world, was Moshe Rabbeinu. And it's very interesting. I don't know, we do not have enough time to cover all of the things, but I will try to just give you a brief thing. We said before that Shlomo HaMelech was the wise person ever. So he was wiser than Moshe Rabbeinu. And he could not understand it. He said, I tried. Gave up. But Moshe Rabbeinu knew it. So you have to know that even though Shlomo HaMelech was Vayachkam mikol ha'adam, he was the wise person ever, there are two areas, two notions. Wisdom and prophecy. About Moshe Rabbeinu it says, Velo kam b'Yisrael navi od kemoshe. He was in the highest, Moshe Rabbeinu was the highest level of nevuah, of prophecy. Now what's the difference between, so it's two different things. So from the approach of the wisdom, you could not get to the bottom of this thing of Parah Aduma. But from the bottom of nevuah, you could, there is a possibility, and only Moshe got it. Not all the Nevi'im, not all the prophets, only him. What is the difference between wisdom and nevuah and prophecy? Wisdom comes from the person himself. Nevuah is a message that comes from Hashem, from God to the Navi. So, there are limits of how much you could, even if you're in the highest level of wisdom, there are limits. But when Hashem gave you the information, it could be bigger. And what actually we learn from this, that Parah Aduma is one of the secrets of Hashem. And what we learn from this is another thing. It's not true that there is no reason to Parah Aduma. There is reason. But the reason is above ability of the limited human being to understand. But Moshe Rabbeinu got it. Let me add to this another thing. Moshe Rabbeinu was the one that Hashem chose to give the Torah through him. Right? And the Torah even called on his name. Zichru Torat Moshe Avdi. Hashem said, the Torah is Torah's Moshe. Meaning he is the channel of taking the Torah from above. Moshe Rabbeinu was the one who took it down to earth. Now what is the Torah? The Torah is the blueprint of the world. When Hashem created the world, He created the world through the Torah. So, what is the word? The word is the connection between Shamayim va'aretz. And here I really do not like the translation of English. Right? It's not heaven and earth. Shamayim va'aretz is much bigger than this. Shamayim is Shamayim and Aretz is the entire... It's the physical and the material. That's the two elements that combined make the creation. How Hashem created it? Through the Torah. So it's the blueprint of the world. And this Torah was given to Moshe Rabbeinu, and through Moshe Rabbeinu was given here. Only the one who has access to the Torah, to the entire Torah, like Moshe Rabbeinu, could get the secret of Parah Adumah. And therefore, in the beginning of this parasha, as I asked in the beginning, it says, Zot Chukat HaTorah Asher Tziva Hashem et Moshe. Zot Chukat HaTorah. It's not saying Zot Chukat HaParah, particularly about this particular mitzvah, which is one of the 613. But if you understand the Parah, you understand the entire Torah. And the only one who has access to it is Moshe Rabbeinu. Not even Shlomo HaMelech. Not King Solomon, only Moshe Rabbeinu. How the Parah is Chukas HaTorah? You want to make a break, and after that we'll discuss it, or we'll continue? Okay. So we'll make a break now, and let me tell you what you should expect after the break. We're going to try to understand very deep concepts about Parah Adumah without me or telling you the secret, because I do not know it. Even King Shlomo do not know it. But giving some directions in order to understand what we could understand. So we still have to understand what the connection between Parah Adumah to the entire Torah, why Moshe Rabbeinu was the only one who could understand it, and how we do not understand, how it's purified from Tumas Met, and why everyone who involved in the process, including the one who threw the blood, he made the other person pure, but he himself got Tumor. So all of this, Bezrat Hashem, will touch after the break. So we'll make a break of 5 minutes and then we'll continue.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why does it appear at this point in the Torah? Why does
right.
Is there any?
Listen, this the entire Parashat Chukas, was giving in the last year of the 40 years in the desert, of the journey in the desert, the last year. And until now, it was relevant in a way, relate to the Mishkan. But now they're going to Eretz Yisrael. If they go to Eretz Yisrael, they have to understand the holiness of Yerushalayim, of Har HaBayit. So it's more, this is the simple understanding of it, to make them ready to go to the Holy Land, because until now they were in Eretz HaAmim. In Eretz HaAmim there is, even though there was a Mishkan, it was a Mishkan there, but but the holy place in the world, the Mishkan, was going with them in the desert. So it was no place in the desert that was holy. Only when the Mishkan was then temporary, why? But then they go into Eretz Yisrael, over there to be Yerushalayim, which is the place, Asher Bachar Hashem. Therefore, they have to know it before. Okay?
Thank you.
The one who metaher becomes always tameh. Where does it end? How could
It will not. It will not end. Oh, no.
that is tameh?
No. It's tameh not betumas met.
Okay.
It's tameh in all those tmeim that was involved in the process was one day tuma. It's not tumas met. One day tuma.
They don't need the Parah Adumah.
Exactly. And they become purified by the tzvila.
Tefillah after
Right.
the day.